unidentified drones, over a Washington military base, where Hegseth and Rubio sleep. Nobody knows where they came from. The White House held an emergency meeting. Neither man has moved. Qatar's largest LNG facility is on fire. Trump is furious at Netanyahu. And America is arguing with itself about whose war this even is. The war just flew over Washington and landed on Trump's desk. As the war with Iran enters its third week, unidentified drones were spotted over a Washington military base, and they might have been there for a specific reason. Or maybe two. According to a Washington Post report, multiple drones were detected over Fort McNair on a single night in the past 10 days. The base is home to Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. Officials have not determined where the drones came from, but the sightings prompted a White House meeting and pushed officials to consider relocating both men. As of March 19th, neither has moved. Two bases, Joint Base McGuire-Dix Lakehurst in New Jersey and MacDill Air Force Base in Florida, raised their alert level to Charlie this week, one step below the maximum. The sightings come as the US military monitors threats more closely, with American and Israeli forces continuing strikes on Iran since February 28th. Meanwhile, the Trump administration is weighing whether to send thousands of additional troops to the region. Options under discussion include securing oil tanker passage through the Strait of Hormuz and deploying ground forces to Karg Island, which handles 90% of Iran's oil exports. According to Reuters, officials have also discussed securing Iran's stocks of highly enriched uranium, though experts describe that mission as highly complex and risky, even for special operations forces. A White House official was careful to manage expectations.
There has been no decision to send ground troops at this time, but President Trump wisely keeps all options at his disposal.
The discussions come as Iranian missiles struck the Ras Laffan facility in Qatar on March the 18th, causing what Qatar Energy described as extensive damage to the world's largest liquefied natural gas hub, with fires visible 30 kilometers away. Trump responded with a direct warning to Tehran, threatening that Iran's South Pars gas field could face strikes if attacks on Qatari infrastructure continue. But at the same time, he seemed to indirectly put the blame on the Israelis.
Israel, out of anger for what has taken place in the Middle East, has violently lashed out at a major facility known as South Pars gas field in Iran. A relatively small section of the hole has been hit. The United States knew nothing about this particular attack, and the country of Qatar was in no way, shape or form involved with it, nor did it have any idea that it was going to happen. Unfortunately, Iran did not know this, or any of the pertinent facts pertaining to the South Pars attack, and unjustifiably and unfairly attacked a portion of Qatar's LNG gas facility. No more attacks will be made by Israel.
In the Truth Social post, Trump also questioned why Washington should bear the burden of keeping the Strait of Hormuz open for countries that rely on it far more than the United States does. For the first time in the war, Trump seemed cross with everyone, from his closest ally Netanyahu to the countries that are not helping with the Hormuz. If Iran's intent was to get under Trump's skin, it certainly looks like they have. Tensions across the Middle East are escalating rapidly, with Iran's leadership issuing strong warnings after the reported killing of senior official Ali Larijani, while military exchanges continue across multiple fronts. Iran's new supreme leader has delivered one of the strongest responses yet, vowing that those responsible for Larijani's killing would face consequences. The statement reflects the growing anger in Tehran as the conflict with Israel and the United States intensifies.
The assassination of such a figure undoubtedly shows the extent of his importance and the hatred of the enemies of Islam towards him. The anti-Islamists should know that shedding this blood at the foot of the tree of the Islamic system only makes it stronger, and of course all blood has its price that the criminal murderers of the martyrs must pay soon.
The rhetoric was echoed by Iran's parliament speaker, who suggested that retaliation would follow a principle of direct retribution, signaling that Tehran may be preparing a calibrated but forceful response.
An eye for an eye equation is in effect, and a new level of confrontation has begun.
In the Gulf, Saudi Arabia reported intercepting 4 ballistic missiles and 2 drones, highlighting how regional states are increasingly being drawn into the conflict. Qatar's Ministry of Interior is reporting a fire in the Ras Laffan area, home to the world's largest LNG production facility, following an Iranian targeting. The incident in Riyadh came after a spokesperson for IRGC's Qatar Al-Anbiya headquarters promised that the fuel, energy and gas infrastructures of those who attacked Iran's energy and oil facilities will be burned and turned to ashes at the earliest opportunity.
This is a firm and clear warning to the criminals who attacked part of Iran's fuel and energy infrastructures in the south of the country. We declare to the cowardly and aggressive army of the criminal America and the barbaric and child-killing Zionist regime that you will have to throw your soldiers into the water and throw your dignity into the wind.
Amid this escalation, coordination between the United States and Israel has reached unprecedented levels. According to US senior official, US President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu have been in near-daily contact since the war began, with Trump reportedly saying the two leaders are working great together. Senior officials on both sides acknowledge that, for now, Washington and Tel Aviv are closely aligned, particularly as the conflict enters a more dangerous phase, involving threats to global energy routes such as the Strait of Hormuz. However, beneath this alignment, differences in long-term strategy are beginning to emerge. American and Israeli officials have indicated that their ultimate goals and tolerance for risk may diverge as the war drags on. Several senior US officials have described Trump as the most enthusiastic figure within the White House when it comes to confronting Iran, noting that he appears more aligned with Netanyahu's maximalist objectives than some of his own advisors. At the same time, 3 of Trump's advisors believe he may ultimately seek to end the war sooner than Netanyahu, suggesting a potential fault line that could shape the trajectory of the conflict. For now, though, the two leaders appear closer than ever. The crisis in the Strait of Hormuz, through which a significant share of the world's oil supply flows, has made it difficult for the United States to step back, even if it wished to. In a significant escalation of hostilities in the Middle East, the Israeli Air Force carried out strikes on a natural gas processing facility in southwestern Iran on March 18th, marking the first time Israel has targeted Iran's natural gas infrastructure. According to 2 senior Israeli officials, the operation hit several facilities within the South Pars gas field, located near the city of Bushehr. Iran's semi-official Tasnim news agency confirmed the strikes, reporting that emergency teams were deployed to the scene to contain fires that broke out following the attack. South Pars is not a peripheral target. It is the world's largest natural gas field and the economic backbone of Iran's energy sector, making it one of the most strategically significant sites the Israeli military has ever struck on Iranian soil. What distinguishes this operation from previous Israeli strikes on Iran is the degree of American involvement. Senior Israeli officials stated that the strike was coordinated with and received explicit approval from the Trump administration before it was carried out, a notable departure from earlier tensions between the two allies over the scope of Israeli military action inside Iran. That friction came to a head just weeks prior, when the Trump administration objected to Israel's strikes on oil depots in Tehran, urging Jerusalem not to hit energy infrastructure without prior US authorization. The March 18th operation appears to reflect a recalibrated understanding between the two governments, one in which Washington is now a willing partner in targeting Iran's economic lifelines. Shortly after reports of the strike emerged, President Donald Trump took to his Truth Social platform with a pointed message.
Remember, for all of those absolute fools out there, Iran is considered by everyone to be the #1 state sponsor of terror. We are rapidly putting them out of business.
Iran's response was swift and pointed. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps issued a warning calling for the evacuation of petrochemical facilities in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates, a signal that Tehran may be contemplating retaliatory action against energy assets belonging to its regional rivals and US allies in the Gulf. Iran's state-aligned Tehran Times amplified the threat, publishing warnings directed at energy infrastructure across the same three countries. The developments have sent ripples of concern through the Gulf region, where liquefied natural gas exports, oil terminals, and petrochemical facilities represent the economic foundations of some of the world's wealthiest nations. Qatar, in particular, shares the South Pars field with Iran. The Qatari portion is known as the North Dome, adding a layer of geopolitical complexity to an already volatile situation.